Alrighty, folks. Good evening. Welcome to the South Boston Speedway. Tonight for race number 4 for the Chestnut Hill Late Model Series. Right now, these guys are completing their qualifying runs. Still got 4 drivers left on the racetrack doing time. Right here, Brandon Elvis in the 54, trying to make his qualifying run. Elvis goes to the top spot in the 54 machine. Look at that, tying nearly with Brian Voss, but Elvis going to the top spot. Justin Coleman, his teammate, right behind him in 4th. Two drivers left to take time, Hunter Lagoons and Brandon Kelly. Still waiting to see a lap from those two drivers. It looks like Lagoons in the 027. Green flag right here at the line. Making his qualifying run, really trying to paint that bottom line. See if you can do anything better on lap number 2. First lap time for Lagoons, 9th quick of 15:01. We'll see what he's got through turns 3 and 4. And across the stripe, second lap time for Lagoons, 5th quick with a 14:81. So Hunter Lagoons breaking his way into the top 5. And right now we're going to try and grab a word from our fast qualifier. Who's got 2 wins on this season, a 2nd place finish as well. And right now he's going to be rolling off from the top spot. So we'll see if we can get him up here in the booth. Brandon Elvis, you got a copy?
Hey, man.
Well, this season so far, 3 races we've ran, 2 wins, a 2nd place finish, and right now at South Boston Race 4, you're starting tonight from the top spot. How you feel?
Pretty good, man. Barely got it. 1/1000th of a second over Voss there. Just gotta be smart and try to lead these laps here and set my pace and see how it goes.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 100-lap race. What are the keys in your mind to winning this race?
Man, just being there at the end. That's all you can do. I think it's gonna go by pretty quick. I don't think there's gonna be a bunch of caution, so just gotta be smart and be there at the end. That's all you can really do.
Alrighty, well, congratulations to you on your pole here tonight. We wish you luck in this 100-lap feature event.
Thanks, Winston.
Yes, sir. Good luck to you. Alrighty, folks. Brandon Elvis, driver of the number 54, right there. Now we're going to pop up our starting lineup for tonight's race. On the pole to 54 by 1/1000th of a second over Brian Voss, your champ last season. Very close margin between the two. But Elvis is going to be starting from the top spot right here. Alex Hicks in the 088 going to be rolling off in the 3rd spot. With Justin Coleman, last week's winner at 5 Flags, rolling off next to him. Hunter Lagoons going to roll off from the 5th spot here. Zach Murphy 6th. Brad Carpenter going to roll off from the 7th position. He's going to have the 8 of Connor Lee to his outside. Back behind them, it'll be Justin Elvis in the 9th spot with Jeffrey Miller to his outside. And then rounding out our field back behind, Adam Fulford and Kevin Prettyman. 12 cars here tonight. Brandon Kelly in the 9, unfortunately not making the call. But the grid is set. The white flag being given to the drivers right here. We're going to have 1 lap until we send them green flag racing. But all eyes going to be on that 54 machine of Brandon Elvis. He's had a very, very successful beginning of this season. We'll see where he can take it as we get further out. But the field is about to go through turns 3 and 4 and through the Coleman Design restart zone. And we are racing here at the South Boston Speedway. Into turns 1 and 2 through 1 and 2 right there, side by side down the back straightaway. Elvis and Voss battling to see who's going to lead lap number 1. Looks like it's going to be the 55 of Brian Voss on that outside lane. He got a really good jump, and Brandon Elvis is going to have to fight hard here on the bottom early on. As Elvis down low trying to make the short way around work. Meanwhile, Voss up top just carrying that momentum. He's able to just inch ahead at the end of the straightaway. As Voss continuing to move up on that outside lane, he's got an advantage now. Is Justin Coleman in the 14 looking to add his name to the battle for the lead. As Elvis up the racetrack a little bit, that's going to give Voss the advantage to get clear into turns 3 and 4. Now here comes Justin Coleman. Can he make the outside work around your pole sitter, Brandon Elvis? As 6 laps in now, Brian Voss takes the early lead. Justin Coleman, though, still working for that second spot. He's able to get it into turns 3 and 4 as everybody starts to get single file throughout the field and calm down here at the South Boston Speedway. We're going to be 8 laps in right here. Brian Voss has led since that first lap. But here comes Justin Coleman right up to his back bumper, trying to make it 2 in a row here at South Boston. Voss in the race lead, still has a decent amount of breathing room to the 14, and we say that here in the All-Star Racing League. That is a decent amount of breathing room. You don't see the race leader get away very often. A very close field, always up at the front of the field here. As Coleman right there trying to close that gap. They've kind of pulled away from Brandon Elvis in the 54. He might be trying to save that race car for a later portion in the race. Back behind, I think Adam Fulford got around Justin Elvis right there for the 9th position. So move Fulford up to 9th. As across the stripe, once again, Brian Voss, your race leader. Justin Coleman back there in the 2nd spot. Ooh, up into the outside wall. Kind of looked like he was trying out that second groove that he used to get around Brandon Elvis. It's definitely going to be the lane to pass on, that outside lane, but going to be very tough to drive up and around somebody. The preferred lane when you're just running like this all spread out, you're going to want to run that bottom lane, but man, the second you get side by side with somebody in these cars here, you just instantly want to be up on the top side, keeping that momentum up. Very hard to make this car work on the bottom side underneath somebody. As through turns 3 and 4 here once again, Coleman still right there with Brian Voss, but not able to make anything happen just yet. Still early in this one. About to reach the lap 20 mark, but laps are going to tick away quick here at South Boston. Last time around, your race leader was just at a 15-second, nearly flat. So as you can imagine, laps are going to tick away very fast here at the South Boston Speedway. But right now, Brian Voss just looking like his old self from last season, out front, maintaining the race lead, doing what he can. It's been a while since we've had a Brian Voss victory. Hasn't gotten a podium finish this season so far. He's gotten a pole or two, so we've gotten to talk to him up here in the broadcast booth, but not the season, or not the season that Brian Voss has wanted. But Voss back up front here. Ooh, Coleman way hot into turns 1 and 2 right there. I thought there might have been contact. Obviously not what Coleman was meaning to do, but he drove in really hot there into 1 and 2 that time and nearly got into the back bumper of Voss. You see, they're definitely running a different line. Coleman, I kind of noticed this last night in the super late model race. Coleman really is pushing up off the corners, and everybody else is able to drive that car off the corners straight. You see Coleman charge through the center, but up off, he just seems to lose a little bit of ground. As we are a quarter of the way through this one. These three right here are the top 3 into the point standings. Brandon Elvis at the top, Voss second, and Coleman third. Elvis definitely putting up a lot of good numbers here early on in the season. But if Brian Voss can string together a couple victories, it could be close. Right now, 26 points separate the two. But still, it's Voss, Coleman, Elvis. Looks like 54 might be moving forward a little bit. Starting to close that gap up. To your front runners right here. Back behind, Alex Hicks starting to work the back bumper of Hunter Lagoons in the 027 machine. So we are 30 laps into this one. Voss still your leader up front. This is definitely going to be a long race, though. You got to save the tires. If we keep going to green flag like we are right here, you're definitely going to want those tires at the end of the race. Yeah, Elvis definitely starting to close that gap in the 54. You see him inching a little bit closer and a little bit closer every time. He was your fast qualifier, so definitely some speed in the 54 here tonight. As Voss down the back straightaway once again. He's got a 0.3 of a second advantage over Justin Coleman. We'll see if Coleman can close that gap. That last time around, the 14 to Justin Coleman, a little bit slower than Brian Voss, but just nearly, not too much time lost there that last time. But yeah, definitely interesting to look at the lines that these guys are running. A lot of difference between even your top three. You see Voss down below that yellow line on the exit of the corner. Elvis way off that yellow line on the... Or, sorry, Coleman way off the yellow line on the exit. And Elvis right there above it. These guys definitely close on times. Not a lot given or taken each lap. But still a lot of laps to unfold. We're nearing the halfway point, though. Coleman's starting to close that gap. He is really using up that apron on the bottom side, center of the corner, but you see he loses a little bit of that ground on the exit. Coleman's definitely going to have to figure something out to get that 14 to turn up off the corner. He's not going to be able to get around this 55. Going to be very hard to pass with a race car driving that way. Five laps shy of halfway. The gap opening back up a little bit for race leader. Some lap traffic up in front for Brian Voss. It looks like it's the 79 of Jeffrey Miller and the 88 of Kevin Prettyman. Prettyman already down one lap in the 88, going a second right there. Miller right there in the 79, one lap down. And Brian Voss trying to be your USA Firearms halfway leader. See if he crosses the stripe. Right here, he will be your USA Firearms halfway leader. So Voss has led the first 50 laps of this event. We'll see if Justin Coleman or Brandon Elvis have anything to say about it. Right now, Voss definitely looks like the favorite here early on. Still caution-free, 52 laps in out of this 100-lapper. Is Voss trying to put Adam Fulford in the 71 down a lap? And he does. Now 8 cars on the lead lap. Justin Elvis in the 44 at the tail end, right in front of race leader Brian Voss. But Voss definitely the fastest car on the racetrack at this point. Coleman not too far behind in the 14. But definitely, this looks like a lot of speed still left in that 55 machine. And you can see it with that 0.6 of a second advantage. Coleman riding in the second spot right now. He had a good run going here last night. Running second on the white flag. Got loose coming out of 4, coming to the white. And just had a big moment. He had to hang on to the car. Spun up into the wall, got it back going, and ended up 7th place after crossing the line at the white second. So a tough break last night for Justin Coleman. He's running in the second spot right now, so hopefully he can bring that car home on the podium, kind of make up for last night. Is Kevin Prettyman down pit road in the 88 machine? Looks like some right side damage. Not quite sure what happened. But definitely damage on the 88 on the right side. Right side tires going up. This will lose another lap to your race leader, Brian Voss. Prettyman now, I believe, 5 laps down, so his chances likely out here at South Boston. Inside of 40 laps to go. And the race lead is getting really big now. 1 second the difference between Brian Voss and Justin Coleman. Coleman in the second spot. Ooh, sideways right there through 1 and 2. The tires definitely starting to get hot for the 14. Brandon Elvis in the 28, or sorry, in the 54. Trying to track down his teammate right here. He won last night in the Super Series. We'll see if he can go back-to-back nights. His last victory in the Super Series was back at the New Smyrna Speedway, which is where he won last in the Late Model Stock Series, so he can keep up the theme of sweeping the weeks if he can win here tonight. But he's closing in on his teammate Justin Coleman right here. Likely going to take a caution for him to track down your race leader Brian Voss. Voss trying to put Adam Fulford a second lap down in the 71. Definitely setting a great pace here. 1.5 seconds now the difference. Coleman and Elvis, I think, might be struggling with their race cars at this point. We've got 30 laps to go at the line. Still caution free here at the South Boston Speedway. Connor Lee in the 8, catching up to the back bumper of Alex Hicks in the 088. Battle for the 5th spot right here. We'll see if Lee has an opening. Not going to get there this time. Coming up on 25 laps to go when Brian Voss gets across the stripe. Here comes Connor Lee to the inside, trying to get a run. Hicks going to shut the door once again. Good battle right here. Lee's got a little bit more speed, I think, in the 8 machine, but not able to get the run so far. Thinks about it right here. He's going to force the issue. Here comes Connor Lee trying to work his way up into the top 5. Hicks giving a lot of room, trying to make that outside lane work. Still Lee down low, not able to get the run. Like I said, very tough to pass here at the South Boston Speedway. Ooh, contact there between the two. Still going down the back straightaway. Lee trying everything he can to get around Hicks in the 088. Still side by side. The 8 car really having a hard time getting that car rotated up off the corner, I think. Ooh, little door slam there off the corner. Trying everything he can to get around Hicks in the 088. More contact there between the two. 18 laps to go for Brian Voss. Back in the 5th spot right now, though. Lee trying everything he can to get around Alex Hicks. Off the corner once again. That 088 just keeps getting the run up off. Lee not able to make that bottom side work. Hicks going to get a little bit of breathing room here. The A to Lee going to have to try and think it over one more time. We'll have 12 laps to go when Brian Voss gets back around. We'll see if he can seal the deal here at the South Boston Speedway. Here comes Lee one more time to the inside of Alex Hicks. Ooh, contact. Lee going around the caution flag is gonna come out, and that is gonna change everything, folks. We suddenly have a brand new race on our hands. Certainly we'll see these lead lap cars come down and take tires. At least one of the guys is gonna want to come down. We'll get a replay here in a second. Brian Voss gonna come down pit road. Justin Coleman coming down. Brandon Elvis gonna be the lone guy out there. I think Alex Hicks gonna stay out as well. He's on the lead lap. See if Connor Lee comes in. He's not going to, so a couple cars electing to stay out. But Brian Voss, your race leader, coming down. Right side tires going on. Same for Justin Coleman. Zach Murphy as well. Brad Carpenter also getting 4 fresh Hoosier tires. Connor Lee making his way down pit road. Alex Hicks as well gonna come down pit road, and Brandon Elvis is all of a sudden gonna be the lone guy on old tires. 8 cars on the lead lap. We'll go back and get a replay of what happened with Connor Lee. Right here battling with Alex Hicks. They had a little bit of contact earlier on, and it looked like just the 088 trying to hold him tight, maybe a little bit of door contact. And the 8 of Connor Lee goes around on the bottom side. Up front, Brandon Elvis takes over the race lead, back where he started this race on the pole. As the lights are off on the iRacing.com pace car, we're going to send them back green flag racing right here with 6 laps to go. It'll be Brandon Elvis and Brian Voss. Once again, your front 2. 6 to go here at South Boston through the Coleman Design restart zone. And we are back racing. A good start for Brandon Elvis. Brian Voss still going to be up there on the top side, though. Is he going to be able to do anything with those fresh Hoosier tires? Elvis down low. Voss up on the outside, though, with those new tires. Going to have the run up off the corner. 5 laps to go for Brandon Elvis. Can he hang on? Ooh, a little bit of contact there. Here comes Brian Voss around the outside, trying to get it done here at South Boston. Zach Murphy right there as well. Oh, contact. Murphy up into the wall. Elvis right through the middle right there was able to hang on to the second spot. But Murphy not going to be happy about that one. Up into the outside wall he went. Ooh, here comes Coleman to the inside. A little bit of contact there on the left rear. 3 laps to go for Brian Voss. Justin Coleman trying to take the second spot back. And here comes Zach Murphy as well in the 29, trying to sneak his way onto the podium. Looks like Elvis just might be out of tires in that 54 machine, looking very tight through the center of the corner. Meanwhile, though, popsicle sticks are up for Brian Voss. He's going to see the white flag out of turns 3 and 4 right here. 1 more lap to go for the man who's dominated this race. Led up until that caution, and he got the lead back right after the restart. Nothing but class here tonight, and Brian Voss is going to win at South Boston. Voss comes home with the victory. Justin Coleman second, Zach Murphy third, Brandon Elvis fourth, and Brad Carpenter rounding out your top 5. As he brings it home, parks it on the front straightaway. We're going to take a quick step away here on True Sim Productions before we grab a word from our top 3 finishers and wrap things up here at the South Boston Speedway. We'll be right back. I'm your host, Winston Deal. Alrighty, folks, we are back here on True Sim Productions. I'm your host, Winston Deal, from the WD Broadcasting Network on Facebook, ready to grab a word from our top 3 finishers, starting with Zach Murphy in the 29. See if we can get him up into the broadcast booth. Zach, you got a copy?
I got you, bud.
Alrighty, well, sneaking onto the podium here tonight, got around Brandon Elvis there late. So I think back-to-back podiums here. Or talking to you back-to-back nights here at the South Boston Speedway. You definitely said you had this one circled on your calendar. Good results to show for it.
Yeah, pretty happy with the run there. I thought, before that caution probably was going to be 4th, so glad to pick up one more spot. Definitely helped to get tires. My right front was not happy towards the end there, so kind of glad to see that yellow and be able to, get a right sides on it and see what we could do. It was a fun little battle there at the end.
Yeah, definitely looked like a lot of fun here at the South Boston. Those cars looked very, very hard to pass. It just looked like a nightmare trying to get around somebody, especially on the bottom lane here tonight. But you got around Elvis there at the end and made your way onto the podium. Who do you got to thank help you get here?
Yeah, tires certainly helped there. Got to thank Whitney Automotive on the car, Coleman, Justin over at Coleman Designs for keeping the wrap fresh. Got to thank Brandon and Dalton, all the guys at All Star for putting the league on, and you, Winston, up in the booth for putting a great broadcast on.
Yes, sir. Always a fun time. Glad to have you here with us, Zach. Congrats to you on your third place finish.
Thank you, bud. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. You too. Alrighty, that was your third place finisher, Brian Voss. Now, or your third place finisher, Zach Murphy. Sorry. Now for a word from our second place finisher, Justin Coleman. We'll see if we can get him up in the booth. Looks like we can. Justin Coleman, up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Alrighty. Well, last night I thought I was going to be talking to you for the second spot, but I'll get it tonight. But tonight here in the late model stock division, ran second to Brian Voss during that initial run. Looked like you might have overheated the tires there trying to get around him early, but still held on to that second spot. Got around your teammate there late at the end to get it back after the restart. But on the podium tonight, how do you feel?
Pretty good considering how last night that was a little embarrassing. I don't know what happened. I mean, it just
Stepped out.
snapped out from
Yeah.
stepped out.
It happens to the best of us.
Oh yeah, it's part of racing. But yeah, we better finish tonight. Yeah, that 55 was on the rail tonight, man. I threw everything but the kitchen sink at him and got the right rear too hot. You know, once you get the right rear too hot, it's pretty much game over. So he was holding on for dear life, and that caution came out, and I said, well, there's no sense in me staying out because I'm just going to be in the way. So I'll come down, take right sides, and those last 4 or 5 laps was pretty hectic, but you know, it all came out in the wash and got us a P2 tonight. So that's nothing to complain about. So I'm happy with it.
Yeah, that is 3 straight podium finishes here in the Chestnut Hill Late Model Stock Series. Last week, winning at 5 Flags, and then New Smyrna second before that. You got 3 straight finishes. Who do you have to thank that makes these happen?
Just want to thank you for your broadcasting. You always do a great job. All the guys at All-Star Racing League, Brandon and Dalton, they always put up good races, good league to run in, very competitive people to run against. Run down my sponsors, Coleman Design, Barry Ellis Performance and Fabrication, Chestnut Hill, the restaurant, Gibbs Brothers Construction, BH Holmes Construction, Parker Brothers Window Tinting, Coastal Performance, Shock-Eye Performance, and shout out to my team, ECR, man. They always a great group of guys to run with. So thankful for them.
Yeah, definitely a good run for you here tonight, Justin. Next week, we head to the Langley Speedway. It's going to be a fun track for these late model stocks. How are you feeling going into that race with some momentum?
I've always said I hate flat tracks, but I don't think I'm allowed to say it no more because I always end up running good there. So we're just gonna keep on with the thing. Not looking forward to it. I hate flat tracks.
Yeah, it's that chip on your shoulder. You just got to show up and perform.
Yes, sir. I think that's it. So we're just going to keep on with it. I hate them, so not looking forward to it.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, congratulations to you, Justin, on a well-earned second place finish here tonight. And we wish you luck going forward.
All right. Thank you, sir. And congratulations to Brian Voss for his win tonight.
Yes, sir.
All right. Later.
See you, Justin. Alrighty, folks. That was Justin Coleman. It's always a blast to have Coleman up in the booth. One of the best personalities here in the All-Star Racing League. Now to grab a word from our winner here tonight, up in the booth, collecting his first victory of the season. Brian Voss, up in the booth. Do you got a copy?
Yeah, Winston, I got you, man.
Alrighty, we'll start it in the second spot here tonight. Barely missed the pole. I mean, you couldn't get closer than that, literally. But didn't take long. Lap number 1, you got a great start there from the beginning. That outside lane looked favorable or favorable all night, and it's a lot of fun on the top here at South Boston. You were able to get around Brandon Elvis, and looked like you set the thing on cruise. You were definitely on a lot of speed here tonight in the 55.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna sit battle myself more, not getting to pole more than anything. I just really lost it and wanted to on lap one, trying to go for it. I should have through lap one and go for it on lap two. But needless to say, yeah, I think it actually kind of played out in our favor, like you said, having that top on the start, being able to pinch him a little bit. We weren't racing hard like him and I was just talking about, but him having that little bit of extra wheel in it for them, like handful of laps, I think that was kind of enticing on the right rear for sure. And just having clean air, man, you could just run the line I needed to. Had clean air on the nose. It was turning, didn't have to just roll it, ease back in the gas, and save the right rear. It worked out pretty good.
Yeah, definitely looked like you had it figured out here tonight. Got the lead on the top side again later in the race to seal the deal one more time, but looked like nothing was going to stop the 55 machine here tonight. Not even that caution there late in the race. First victory of the season, actually first podium finish of the season. Not the first couple weeks I'm sure that you were hoping for, but finally broke loose and got into victory lane. Definitely has to feel good after the struggle that has been the beginning of the season.
Sure, absolutely. We let one get away at Rockingham. Like I said, I had a baby trouble. I thought my phone was going off, and I could just barely was out of reach, and I had to pit, and I didn't want to pit. Not saying I would have beat Brandon that night, but I think it would have been a hell of a race between him and I. We had a pretty good gap, so Rockingham's going to stick with me. But yeah, man, getting back in victory lane feels good, especially after the season we had last year. Started to doubt myself. Said, man, I got to start logging some laps. I know these guys are after it all the time. You can't become the laughing stock of the league when you have a good season last year.
Yeah.
You can't even get a podium.
Yeah, you definitely wanted to back that one up last year. I was talking about that earlier. You looked like your old self from last year. I remember the South Boston last season, that race. It was pretty much similar to this. That 55 machine looked like it was on cruise control. You were sitting there maybe on your phone half the run, something like that. But definitely a lot of speed. Who do you have to thank that helped get that 55 machine that much tonight?
Man, it's got to thank my good buddy Jay for coming on board this season. On Tap Dispense Services, that's our sponsor. The thing looks beautiful, if I say so myself. Coleman with Coleman Designs helped us out get that chrome, and the thing really glistens at night. And even I think the black version looks just as good as the white one. Sugar Moss Cakes and Confections, Florence Motor Speedway, Rain Total Body Fuel, and of course we're always fueled by Middle Light. Dalton, Brandon, Coleman, everybody that does this with All Star and Cricket Line. It's a good bunch of guys. Chris Lee with Chestnut Hill Restaurant, Barry Elvis Performance and Fabrication, and then of course you and the broadcast do a phenomenal job. We all look forward to going back and watching it.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun time up here in the booth, and made it easy here tonight, kept it out front, and had a very, very well-earned victory here at the South Boston Speedway. Next week, we go to Langley, keeping up on this short, flatter track grind that we've got going. But Langley, I'm looking forward to that race. That's one I've got circled on my calendar that could produce some pretty good racing. Obviously, the Cars Tour had a very good race there this season. How are you feeling going into Langley with some momentum?
Yeah, very similar layout, a lot flatter than this place, but I'm looking forward to it. I think you just wrap the bottom and clip the apron on entry and exit of 4. Hopefully it doesn't become a wrestling match like it was with Connor and Brendan there in the car store race and a hand to deep. But hey, if it comes down to that, as long as we get the win, that'll be okay too.
Yeah, it's always good when you're on the winning end of that deal, but nonetheless, congratulations to you on a very well-earned victory here tonight at the South Boston Speedway.
Appreciate it. Winston. Beer money for the crew.
Yes, sir. Alrighty, folks. Gotta love when Brian Voss gets some beer money for the crew. And I think that's going to do it for us here tonight at the South Boston Speedway. Thank you to everybody who tuned in for race number 4 of the All-Star Racing League Chestnut Hill Late Model Stock Series season. We look forward to seeing you guys back for next week's action at Langley, both in the Super Series and the Late Model Stocks. Also, look forward to tomorrow night with the Lead the Pack iRacing League Street Stock Showdown. They're going to be heading to South Boston as well. So 3 races at South Boston this week. Going to be fun. Check that out over on the WD Broadcasting Network on Facebook. But till then, we'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm your host, Winston Deal. Going to sign it off. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.